There are moments in life when arrogance reveals itself so completely, so nakedly, that it becomes a gift. My younger brother handed me such a moment on a Friday night in Barcelona, standing in the lobby of a hotel he believed was far beyond my reach. He didn't know that every marble tile beneath his feet, every chandelier casting warm light across his smug face, every room key coded and distributed by the staff around us, all of it answered to me. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the beginning, to the precise instant when respect died between us. Our father built an empire from shipping containers and diesel fumes. He died when I was 28, and Marcus was barely 22. The will was clear, methodical, exactly what you'd expect from a man who spent his life turning chaos into order. I received the hospitality holdings, 7 boutique hotels across 3 continents, properties he'd acquired as passion projects during his final decade. Marcus got the logistics company, the real money, the operation that actually built our family name. I remember Marcus at the funeral, shaking hands with executives 3 times his age, wearing our father's watch before the man was even in the ground. He took to power like he'd been holding his breath his entire life, finally allowed to surface. And me? I disappeared into the hotels, learning every position from night audit to executive housekeeping, understanding that my father's final gift to me wasn't wealth, it was education. For 6 years, I operated in Marcus's shadow. He'd call occasionally, usually when he needed something, a suite for a client in Prague, a last-minute booking in Singapore, always with that tone, that casual assumption that I was running a cute little side business while he handled the real family legacy. I never corrected him. Pride has always struck me as expensive, and I've learned to invest carefully. Then came the bachelor party. Marcus was marrying Victoria, a venture capitalist's daughter with a practiced smile and a talent for remembering names at fundraisers. The wedding was set for Positano, 300 guests, a price tag that made even Marcus wince. But first, tradition demanded he celebrate his final days of freedom, and Marcus had never been one for modest celebrations. He'd chosen Barcelona. Specifically, he'd chosen the Hotel Majestic Catalunya, the crown jewel of La Rambla, a property that had been in my portfolio for 4 years, but which Marcus had apparently never bothered to verify. The irony was so perfect, I had to respect it. The call came on a Tuesday. "Got a favor to ask." Marcus never said hello anymore. "Bachelor party next weekend, 12 guys. We're doing Barcelona, and I want to stay at the Majestic Catalunya. I know it's probably outside your usual network, but maybe you know someone who can get us a rate?" I was sitting in my office in Zurich, looking at quarterly reports from that exact property. Revenue up 18% year over year, occupancy at 92%. We just completed a renovation of the rooftop suites that Marcus would undoubtedly want. "I'll make some calls," I said. "Appreciate it. And hey, maybe don't mention to the guys that you had to pull strings. You know how it is. They're all finance bros, very particular about optics." This was Marcus's gift, the ability to insult you while asking for help, to make condescension sound like brotherly affection. I made the arrangements personally. Presidential suite for Marcus, junior suites for his 11 friends, a reserved section at our rooftop bar, dinner reservations at our Michelin-starred restaurant. I instructed my general manager, Patricia, a woman who'd worked her way up from front desk agent to running one of Europe's finest hotels, to treat them exactly as she'd treat any high-paying guests. Impeccable service, no special favors, and absolutely no mention of ownership. Then I booked myself a room. Standard king, different floor. I told Patricia I'd be conducting a routine quality assessment. She knew better than to ask questions. I arrived Thursday night, 24 hours before Marcus's group. The hotel was performing beautifully, as always. Every detail precisely calibrated, from the scent of bergamot and cedar in the lobby to the exact temperature of the towel warmers. I'd learned from our father that luxury isn't about extravagance, It's about eliminating every micro-friction between a guest and their comfort. Marcus arrived Friday at 6 p.m. with the rolling entitlement of someone who'd been drinking since the airport. I was sitting in the lobby bar, positioned where I could observe the front desk without being immediately visible. I'd chosen a worn paperback and reading glasses, the universal uniform of invisibility. I watched my brother approach the reception desk with his pack of wolves. Loud, gesturing, already treating the space like they owned it, which I suppose in their minds they did. Money has a way of making men feel like everywhere they spend it becomes their territory. The check-in proceeded smoothly. Patricia was handling it herself, her composure unshakable. I saw Marcus lean against the marble counter with practiced casualness, the same posture he'd used since college to signal that he was slumming it by talking to service workers. Then James arrived. James was the youngest of Marcus's friends, maybe 26, new money from cryptocurrency, the kind of wealth that makes people forget they were middle class 2 years ago. He looked around the lobby with theatrical appreciation, already pulling out his phone for photos. "This place is incredible," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Marcus, how'd you even know about it?" This was the moment. I felt it before it happened, the way you feel the air pressure change before a storm. Marcus shrugged, magnanimous. "Family connections. My older brother actually works in hotels." James perked up. "Oh, does he work here? Can he get us upgrades?" The laugh that came out of Marcus was practiced, the sound of someone who'd refined his condescension into an art form. "God, no. He runs, like, business class places, airport hotels, conference centers. This," he gestured around the lobby with its 17th century architectural details and contemporary art collection. "This is way outside his lane." Patricia's eyes flickered to me for just a fraction of a second. I gave her the smallest shake of my head. "Not yet." "Actually," James continued, oblivious, "I tried to get a room here for my parents last month. Couldn't even get a reservation. Booked solid for like 6 months out." Marcus nodded, accepting this as confirmation of his own excellent taste. "Yeah, I had to call in some serious favors. But that's the thing about life, gentlemen. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know." One of the other guys, Colin, leaned in. "What's the damage on a weekend here anyway?" "Don't worry about it," Marcus said. "This one's on me. Consider it my gift to myself. You guys are just along for the ride." "Ballpark, though," Colin pressed. Marcus paused for effect. "The suite I'm in? About €4,000 a night. Your rooms are around 1,200 each." The whistles and exclamations were immediate. Marcus basked in it, the momentary king of his small empire. "Could your brother afford to stay here?" James asked, the kind of thoughtless question young wealth asks about anyone not in the room. This was the moment I'd unknowingly been waiting 6 years for. The moment when Marcus would reveal exactly how he saw me, how he'd always seen me. "My brother?" Marcus smiled, not unkind, just certain. "No." "I mean, he does fine, runs a decent operation. But this level? This isn't the hotel business. This is wealth management with mattresses. You've got to play a different game to even get a seat at this table." "So he's like..." James searched for the analogy. "He's Southwest, and this is Emirates First Class?" "Exactly." Marcus actually looked pleased by the comparison. "He does honest work, good work, but there are levels to this, you know? Some of us are built for altitude." Something must have shown on my face because the businessman sitting next to me at the bar, a regular I recognized from previous stays, caught my eye and raised his glass slightly. A silent acknowledgement of whatever he'd just witnessed crossed my expression. I sat with it. The disrespect, the casual dismissal, the fundamental misunderstanding of who I was and what I'd built. Our father used to say that anger was expensive because it cost you clarity. So instead of anger, I felt something colder, more useful. Patience. I let them have their weekend. I watched from the margins as they took over the rooftop bar, running up a tab that would eclipse most people's monthly salary. I observed Marcus holding court, telling stories about deals he'd closed and markets he'd conquered, always with himself as the brilliant center. His friends orbited him like planets around a sun, and he glowed with their attention. Saturday night, they had dinner at our restaurant. I'd arranged for them to have the chef's table, a position that let them watch the kitchen work. Marcus ordered the most expensive wines, explained them incorrectly to his friends, and left a generous tip that he made sure everyone noticed him leaving. Sunday morning, I watched them nurse hangovers at brunch, already planning their next excess. By checkout time, they were loud again, recharged, ready to return to their lives of casual dominance. I waited until they'd loaded into the cars for the airport. Then I went to find Patricia. "How was their stay?" I asked. "Flawless," she said. Mr. Torres was exactly as you'd expect. The bill? 38,000 euros, settled in full. He didn't even look at the itemization. I nodded. "Patricia, I need you to do something for me." Her expression shifted slightly. In 4 years of working together, I'd never asked her for anything personal. She straightened, attentive. "I need you to send Marcus a personal thank you. Use the ownership letterhead, something gracious about how we appreciate his business and hope he'll consider the Majestic Catalunya for future events." Understanding dawned in her eyes. "Of course, Mr. Torres." "And Patricia, please extend the same courtesy to all our sister properties. Make sure the general managers know that Marcus Torres is to be treated as a valued guest of the ownership family, my family, should he visit any of our hotels." "All 7 properties?" "All 7. The email reached Marcus on Tuesday. I know because he called me 17 minutes after Patricia sent it. "Did you know?" His voice was different, smaller. "Know what?" "Don't. Please don't." A pause. "The Majestic Catalunya. You own it?" "I own the chain," I said quietly. "All 7 properties. I have for 6 years, since Father left them to me." Silence. Real silence, the kind that holds weight. "The bill was fair market rate. You received the same exceptional service we provide all our guests." I said, "I know what you said, Marcus. I was there." Another pause. Longer. "You were there?" "Standard King on the 4th floor. I do quality assessments regularly. It's important to see how properties function when ownership isn't obviously present." I could hear him processing it, understanding that I'd sat there while he dismissed me, while he reduced my life's work to a punchline for his friends. "Why didn't you say something?" His voice cracked slightly. This was the question I'd been waiting for, the one that would determine what kind of man my brother might still become. "Because I wanted to see if you would," I said. "At any point that weekend, you could have wondered about me, asked about my work, shown the slightest curiosity about what I'd built. Instead, you made assumptions. You built a story where you were the successful one and I was playing in a minor league, and you never questioned it because it felt right to you." "I didn't mean, Marcus." I kept my voice level, measured. "I don't need an apology, but I need you to understand something. Father gave you the logistics company because you were hungry for obvious power. He gave me the hotels because he knew I understood something more important, that real influence is often invisible, that the person serving you coffee might own the building, that quiet competence outlasts loud confidence." I feel like an idiot. "Good. That means you're learning." I could hear him breathing, working through it. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now? You're getting married in 2 months, in Positano, and you're going to need rooms for 300 guests." I already have accommodations arranged. Cancel them. I have a property there. Il Palazzo Veneziano. You probably haven't heard of it. It's very exclusive, very private. Father acquired it the year before he died. I'll give you the family rate, actual family rate this time. I can't let you. Marcus, this isn't charity. This is me teaching you the same lesson Father tried to teach us both. There are levels to this game you're playing, and some of us have been playing it longer than you realize. The wedding was extraordinary. I made sure of it. Not as a gift to Marcus, but as a demonstration. Every detail perfect, every guest taken care of, every expectation exceeded. Victoria's father cornered me at the reception, asked if I'd consider consulting on a hotel acquisition his firm was evaluating. I gave him my card. Marcus found me near the end of the night, standing on a terrace overlooking the Amalfi Coast. "Thank you," he said, "for all of this." "You're my brother." "I'm an asshole." "You're learning not to be. There's a difference." He stood next to me, looking out at the water. Father knew, didn't he, that I'd need to learn this. He knew we'd both need to learn different things. You needed to understand that wealth without wisdom is just noise. I needed to understand that proving myself to people who refuse to see me is a waste of time. Did I teach you that? I smiled. You helped. 6 months later, Marcus sold the logistics company. He'd been good at it, built it up considerably, but his heart had never been in shipping routes and supply chains. He took the proceeds and asked if I needed a partner. Not in the hotels, he understood that was mine, but in expansion. We opened 3 new properties in the next 2 years. Marcus handled acquisitions and finance. I handled operations and culture. We were good together, better than we'd been as brothers trying to prove ourselves against each other. People ask me sometimes if I forgave him for that weekend in Barcelona. I tell them there was nothing to forgive. He didn't betray me, he revealed himself. And in doing so, he gave me something valuable. Absolute clarity about who I was and what I'd built. The last time we were in Barcelona together, we had drinks at the Majestic Catalunia's rooftop bar. Marcus ordered whiskey, looked around the space, and shook his head. I can't believe I stood in the lobby of this place and told people you couldn't afford it. I can't believe I let you, I said. But I needed to know if you'd choose to see me or choose to see your version of me. Most people choose the version that makes them feel better about themselves. And now? Now you see me. That's worth more than an apology. He raised his glass. To Father, for knowing exactly what he was doing. I raised mine. To the lessons we didn't know we needed. The truth is, I never needed Marcus to fail. I didn't orchestrate some elaborate revenge or public humiliation. I simply existed at a level he hadn't imagined possible for me. And when he discovered the gap between his assumptions and reality, it changed him. That's the thing about true power. You don't have to wield it like a weapon. Sometimes you just have to embody it so completely that when people finally see you clearly, they understand exactly how blind they've been. The hotel business taught me that. Every guest who's ever been rude to a housekeeper, every executive who's ever snapped at front desk staff, they all make the same mistake Marcus made. They assume visibility equals importance, that the people they notice are the only people who matter. They're wrong. And occasionally, beautifully, they find out exactly how wrong they are. I still do quality assessments, still sit in lobbies with my worn paperback and reading glasses, still watch people make assumptions about who holds power in any given space. And sometimes, when I overhear someone being casually cruel to staff or dismissive of people they've decided don't matter, I smile and remember my brother's face when he realized that the person he'd spent a weekend pitying actually owned everything he'd been impressed by. Those moments remind me why patience isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. And in the long game, it's undefeated.